I've watched quite a lot of cartoons as a child, but none were quite like Rupert's. With such a quaint but captivating world, filled to the brim with lots of variation in the people and animals who inhabit it, it's not hard to see the things Rupert brings to the table. The copious amounts of joy, the drama, not exactly deadly, but enough to keep one in suspense, the British accents that the characters carry, all things that we love to see in any cartoon featuring talking animals. But despite the 100 years of stories in the fan club that it has maintained in modern day, its popularity simply isn't parallel to the other masterpieces we have had come out in the past decade or two. So I decided it's time to review the forgotten cartoon, Rupert. Hello everyone, I'm Detective Morrill, the internet's greatest detective, and welcome back to the A Forgotten Cartoon series. The last video I made on this series racked up 10,000 views. So if this video doesn't get 1,000 views in a week, I'm deleting this channel! But anyways, to anyone who is new to this series, as it is literally the second episode, we look back on series that have been forgotten or that people just don't know about. I give an overview, my own review, and why I really enjoy it versus what I think of it nowadays after rewatching it. Today, I'm reviewing another one of my favorite childhood cartoons, Rupert. And without further ado, let's move on. Rupert is a cartoon named after its main character, Rupert the Bear, and the educational fantasy adventures that he and many more characters go through in Nutwood Village and beyond. Episodes typically ran for about 23 minutes. It was originally released on September 7th of 1991 and ended its original run on June 19th, 1997 at 65 total episodes. Moving on, let's talk about our beloved characters. Starting off with our main boy, we have Rupert Bear, a resident of Nutwood Village who is very popular with all of the other residents due to being a very considerate young man, smart and resourceful, brave in every step of the way, trusty and good-spirited. It's no wonder why he has made many friends and has even made friends with those who might have considered him foe. He even has made friends with the audience, as he occasionally takes a second to break the fourth wall by addressing things he observes and making comments to us. Next up, we have Mr. Bear, who is a lot more clumsy and forgetful than his son. We know that he seems to enjoy a bit of gardening, and he also smokes a pipe pretty often. In the episode Rupert and the Firebird, it is revealed that he is part of the Nutwood Fire Brigade, which also seems perfect for him, considering what bear he is. Next, Mrs. Bear. There isn't too much for me to talk about, but it is worthy to mention that she is very wise, and that seems to have been passed down to her own son. She often offers advice to Rupert, who ends up using that advice in his adventures later. Starting on one of Rupert's friends, we have Bill Badger, who, unlike his friend Rupert, presents a lot more characteristics that his friend does not share. For instance, Bill's cowardice, his inability to be patient, his clumsiness, his quick temper, or even his inability to sing. But Bill has a baby brother named Toby that actually enjoys Bill's singing voice. Next, we have Podgy Pig, a jolly fellow with a large appetite who is very greedy and not necessarily the smartest. He is very friendly to others, yet appears oblivious to the fact that his friends appear to find him annoying on occasion. His appetite tends to lead he and his friends into trouble at times, but this doesn't bother Rupert, as he will go out of his way to help Podgy anyways. Next we have Pong Ping, a Pekingese from China that is very knowledgeable of his culture, including dragons and various magical objects. He also is very good at math and owns an elevator that can travel all the way down to China. Next we have Tiger Lily, a Chinese girl who is the daughter of the Chinese conjurer. Because of this, her and her family have a lot of knowledge on magical and mystical objects. She is the only human student in school and the member of one of the few human families in Nutwood. Next up, Algie Pug, a friend of Rupert who often overestimates his abilities and takes a lot of pride in himself. Despite his flaws, he is shown to be a good and helpful friend for Rupert and others. Edward Trunk is another friend of Rupert, an elephant, very kind, sensitive, and strong. He is often seen helping his father who works in plumbing. Gregory Guinea Pig is a very kind guinea pig and another friend of Rupert. Sometimes he can be nervous and scared, but he meets the challenges head on when his friends need help. Ottaline Otter is Rupert's friend, who is an otter of a Scottish descent who loves Shakespeare and lives in an old castle that belonged to her ancestors. The castle has many secret entrances hidden all over. Ottaline has vast knowledge of each entrance's location and will prefer to use them instead of the stairs. Freddy and Freddy Fox are two mischievous twin foxes who spread mischief around the village of Nutwood. Constable Growler is a dog and local policeman who rides a bicycle. He constantly says he needs to do everything by the book, you know, and is always turned to by Rupert and his friends whenever they need help catching a criminal. And finally, the professor is a very friendly and eccentric human scientist who resides in an old castle tower in Nutwood, who invents many incredible devices during the series. Rupert often helps out with the professor's experiments. Once the professor starts an experiment, he never rests. He has the catchphrase, "Think of the possibility, my boys," whenever he is explaining his experiments and all the benefits that can come from it to Rupert and his friends. Before I move into my review, I wanted to talk about something that may interest you. Did you know that there's a Rupert Fan Club? Yes, a club dedicated to all things Nutwood Village related, all based in the UK, with their own Wikipedia page. It's actually insane. When I found out about this about a year ago, I was actually shook. Because why didn't I receive an invite? Where was my special greeting to the followers of Rupert Fan Club? If anyone involved with this club wants to send me an email or something, feel free to contact me on Twitter or just let me know somewhere where I can talk to these people. But anyways, that's enough of that. Now we're moving on to my overall review of this series. But to do this, I want to quickly talk about one of my favorite episodes, Rupert and the Twilight Fan. While grocery shopping with his father, Rupert was invited to have lunch at Tiger Lily's home. While he is on his way, he meets an old man named Tung Lai. He explains that the conjurer was an old friend of his and they had a disagreement that split them apart. But he had a gift for Tiger Lily that he wanted to present as a peace offering. Rupert, being the good boy he is, took the gift, not even noticing Tung Lai's evil expression as he left. And just as he planned, she uses the fan and passes out. The conjurer reveals that Tung Lai is his deadly enemy, and that the Twilight Fan puts the user in a twilight, or a deep sleep that they will never wake up from, unless you fan the user with a tail from the Dove of Dawn. Rupert, worried about his friend, takes the map and heads on his way to employ the help of the professor to reach the Bird Kingdom. He meets Bodkin there instead. At first, Bodkin denies the request of Rupert due to the flying machine being the professor's newest invention, but Rupert pleads on behalf of his friend's circumstance. After some trials and tribulations, they reach the Bird Kingdom, where they are immediately summoned by the king. While talking to the Bird King, one of his guards mentioned the flying machine they brought. This offends the king, who imprisons them and plots to destroy their machine. Fast forward a little bit, and Rupert and Bodkin break out of their cage. Bodkin wants to find the flying machine and escape, but Rupert hasn't given up on their original mission: get a tail feather from the Dove of Dawn. They find where the Bird King is, and just as they do, they are reported, and the Bird King plots to throw them in the tower. Once again, Bodkin tells Rupert that they need to find the flying machine and leave, but Rupert won't budge on trying to get the Bird King to hear his request for help. Bodkin becomes a distraction, and Rupert approaches the king. Chaos ensues, and Rupert ends up saving the king's life. The king offers to do anything for Rupert, and he asks for the feather. But the king explains that he can't give him the feather, as the Dove of Dawn only has one tail feather, and that she could never truly be happy without it. But then the Dove of Dawn interjects, explaining that she would be a lot happier if she knew that her feathers saved the life of a little girl. But Rupert remembers that he just has to fan Tiger Lily with the feather, not take the feather altogether, and asks the king to bring her to Nutwood. They exchange their goodbyes and make their way back. Tiger Lily is fanned by the Dove of Dawn, and she awakens. But just as Bodkin and the Dove of Dawn headed back for the Bird Kingdom, Tung Lai arrives for a final showdown with the conjurer and fails miserably, becoming a bird in the process. Episode over. The series' animation quality is very standard for the 1990s, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. I think it serves the series well, and it honestly looks amazing. The music is very fitting and brings even more character to the lives of the Nutwood residents. And considering most of the complaints for cartoons will land in that area, I feel like there wouldn't be as much for Rupert. But I think what made Rupert such a great cartoon for me to watch as a kid was the fact that Rupert was never one to back down from a challenge. He is very persistent in his mission to help a friend, and we received wonderful stories because of it. And the crazy thing is, I've been watching this cartoon since I was 4 years old, sitting in the living room enjoying Rupert, to even 9 years old when I'd be chilling in my room. Even now as a 17-year-old, I still find Rupert very enjoyable, although some of the childish aspects don't really, hold too much on me. Rupert is the kind of friend everyone wished they had, someone who is always there having fun and willing to fight for your cause. And if I were still young, these are the kind of adventures I would love to partake in. Watching this cartoon made me miss the childhood I never had, made me nostalgic of the days long gone, made me sympathize with those who won't get to have this kind of childhood. And a fanatical cartoon like this deserves attention of the highest caliber. I think if you haven't seen Rupert at all, or are looking for something you used to enjoy, I will leave Treehouse Direct's full Rupert playlist linked in the description or saved on my YouTube channel, as I am sure there is at least one person out there who wants to. Before I close this video, shout out to my friend Max for being the only other Rupert fan I've ever met, ever. But yeah, I love this cartoon, and I feel like Rupert is a character I draw a lot of inspiration from. But I thank you all for watching this video. If you have any forgotten cartoons you would like for me to review, leave all of your suggestions in the comment section. And as always, it has been elementary, my dear Watson.